Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. I hope you've had a good and a productive week and that you've felt God's closeness to you throughout this week. I also hope that you've maybe felt challenged at times this week as we're about to read. It's something to be encouraged by. I want to just read quickly from something I read yesterday in our Bible reading plan. And it's Hebrews 12, verses 5 to 7 or 8. We'll see how we get on. And it says, "And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks to you as to sons. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor be discouraged when you are rebuked by him. For whom the Lord loves he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, God deals with you as with sons. For what son is there whom a father does not chasten?" So we read there that it says, "You have forgotten," there in the first verse that we read, and it's referring to the fact that when hard times arise, that people may be tempted to question whether or not God is as loving and maybe as in control as they once thought or first thought. I wonder if that can sometimes be the case with us as well. Sometimes when life does get tough, do we turn to God, or do we question God? We read there that hard times are not something to be seen as God turning his back on us, but rather of the fact that we're his sons and daughters. The quote that we read was from Proverbs 3, and it tells us not to despise the chastening of the Lord. And that word chastening could also mean to humbling or sobering. The chastening of the Lord, it should be received gratefully and seen as God continuing to correct us and to almost train us. As a father myself, and I know there's many other parents in our congregation, our church family, and we probably realise how vitally important it is that we correct our children. I know it's important that I correct Albie and Jemima when they don't make the correct decisions. And the reason for this is because I love them so much, and I want to see them grow, and I want to see them develop into children and adults that know what's expected of them and know how to live a life that is respectful and caring. And unfortunately for myself, I've also seen the other side of that at the school that I work in, the primary school I'm at. There's children that I've taught and that I'm teaching this year that don't have that figure in their life, that physical figure as we're speaking about at the moment. And as a result of that, some of them have not been corrected and they don't understand right from wrong, which is sad. And it's something that I try to help out with, to help them to understand how we're expected to behave, and to not have that role model in their life is something that is really sad for them. It's quite scary to think that you could go on acting however you want and not be challenged. Like some of the children in my class, that they can do kind of whatever they want, and no one's really going to be, maybe in some cases, bothered enough to challenge that behaviour. And in a human sense, it probably shows a father or maybe a mother that has got a lack of care or maybe a lack of initiative. However, if in a Christian sense, if we're not being challenged or chastened by God, it's far worse. Because as we go on to read in verse 8, it says you are illegitimate and not sons. And so facing tough times, it allows us to mature as Christians, and it's also, most importantly, proof that we're sons and daughters of God. We read similar in 2 Corinthians verse 1, 3-7, that going through tough times also enables us to be able to comfort others that will face similar circumstances in the future. It helps us to draw alongside them and help them out. So yeah, although at times it might feel awful at the time, the things that we're going through, know that it's because we're sons and daughters of God. And praise God that when we do face challenges, or we're humbled in certain areas of our life, it's God showing how much He loves us. Have a great day, everyone. See you soon.